What's up, side hustlers, entrepreneurs, business builders, dream makers? Welcome to the Sell Your Side Hustle Podcast, episode 26. I hope you guys all had a glorious weekend. Were able to take some time off, spend time with family, friends, do something that was fun. I know myself, I got to play tennis and I got to play tennis with a friend, and that was rejuvenating. Something else that I did this weekend, and what I want to share with you guys today is directly coordinated to this. Something else I did this weekend that I do every single Sunday is that I had a therapy session. And this has been going on, I guess, since January of this year. Yeah, I realized at the end of the year, around November, at the end of last year, that I took a depression scale quiz, and it told me that I had moderate depression. So I decided to see a therapist about that. And here's how this manifests, as far as I can tell. And I posted about this even. One of the things that I've noticed and I've experienced in myself is that when I am running the business, and whether I'm working in the business or I'm working on the business, whether I'm doing business strategy, marketing strategy, whether I'm in the weeds doing some practical tactics, whether I'm doing client work or my own work, or whether I'm reading or relaxing or going on a walk, it doesn't really matter. If I'm on a sales call, it doesn't matter. Whenever I'm doing anything, here's what I've noticed about myself. I have this level of anxiety and stress associated with finances. And so there's the level of anxiety and stress that just comes with trying to hit goals, but then there's also the goals are always higher than the necessities, right? So I also have this stress when it comes to just necessities. Any month, the way that my brain works is that I feel like I'm starting over at zero at the beginning of each month, no matter what I have on as far as recurring revenue goes. As far as I'm concerned, I'm starting over at zero until that money is in my bank account. And so every month I start over at zero. And so there's this level of anxiety and stress that exists up until I hit the bare minimum to pay the bills, and then there's still this the stress and this concern with the goals, but there's always more goals, right? So I have minimum I have goals for the month, and then I have stretch goals for the month. And if I ever hit a goal, then I just extend my stretch goal effectively. And so I'm constantly experiencing this stress that's financial. But what I realized last week is the first time I was consciously aware of this. But it's been true for a while, is that I don't actually have a level of excitement or peace or the sense of being able to breathe when I hit one of those goals, when I make a sale. So last week, for example, everything happened last week that's supposed to happen. It's on my books. As far as recurring revenue. And in addition to that, I also made an additional $700 last week, which came in two separate payments with two separate clients. And that's the kind of thing that, I earnestly believe getting $700 above what is expected in a week is the kind of thing that I should be willing and able to celebrate. But what happens experientially is that I don't feel anything. Now, the reality is that I feel absolutely nothing. And what I do mentally, the entire extent of it, is when I see a payment come in, that means I get to start on a project. So what I do is I say, okay, let's go ahead and put this into my project management process. Let's go ahead and put that on my calendar when I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. That's what I do. But there's no emotional excitement. There's no, yay, I made money. There's no, oh, cool. No, I do get excited when I see my clients are happy or my clients have large wins or large successes. I do get excited by that. Not as much as I used to. That's probably true. But I definitely get excited by that. Those things are exciting. But for the most part, what I realized is that I only experienced the downside of the emotional roller coaster that's associated with finances as a business owner. I only experience the downside. I don't have the exciting upside. And as I was analyzing on that and really meditating on it, what I realized is I think that this is actually because I know what my purpose is in life. I know exactly why I'm here on this planet. And why I'm here on this planet has very little to do with my financial well-being. But I need to be able to pay the bills and things like that, right? And so because of that, I don't get excited by things that aren't aligned with my purpose. And it just makes sense to me. Um, I have no problem saying this to you, because I honestly, this is my podcast, right? This is a conversation that you and I get to have. And in my mind, even though I understand that it's being blasted to the world, this is a personal place. This is my place. And so my purpose in this world is so that other people can know how much Jesus loves them. It's that simple. It's the only reason I'm here. I know that. And so anytime I do anything that is related to that purpose, I feel good. And anytime I see wins that are not related to that purpose, they don't actually get me excited. And well, what I'm teaching myself right now is how those things shouldn't affect me negatively either. And if they do, that's just evidence that I have not been in this moment remembering my purpose. Bad things are going to happen. There's going to be ups and downs, goods and bads. There's going to be stresses in life. That's part of life. And in fact, it makes life fun and worth living in so many ways. But if I can remember that this thing is something that I am going to address and I'm going to take care of and I'm going to deal with it, I'm going to do whatever I need to do, and it's actually detached from why I'm here and my true goals, I suspect that's going to put me in a much healthier mental state. And so I know this episode is kind of weird. It's kind of different because I'm just like sharing my soul with you. But I wanted to be able to do that. I want this podcast to be a place where I can be authentically and earnestly me. And so that does mean that most of the show is going to be all about the experiences that I'm having in business and how you can apply them to your business and how you can grow and become a better marketer and become a more successful business owner, as well as the guests that I have on the show. On Friday, I'm having my friend Carlos Redlick on the show. That's going to be exciting. All those things are true. And all those things are going to keep happening. But what's also going to be happening on this podcast is I'm going to be authentically me, which I've been authentically me. I'm not saying that this is like things are changing. I'm just being real. That is why this podcast is here. I'm going to continue being authentically me, and that does mean that I am absolutely going to open up and share with you when I'm struggling. I'm going to open up and I'm going to share with you about my faith. I'm going to open up. I'm going to share with you about my heart, about my soul, about my present psyche, and I'm going to open up and I'm going to share with you about the other things that I get excited and passionate about, because believe it or not, there are a lot of things that I get excited and passionate about that have nothing to do with business. If you are watching the video and you can see all the books behind me, so many of those are philosophy books, guys. There's one right there that you can probably see clearly. That's the Odyssey, and that's sitting next to a lot of great epics. There's the Aeneid, the Odyssey, there's the Epic of Gilgamesh. I love mythology, I love philosophy, I love theology. And these are all things that I'm going to be sharing with you. But obviously, this is a marketing entrepreneurial podcast. The entire purpose of its existence is so that I can track my journey as a business owner. But that is my journey. And so thank you so much for listening to me. If there's any takeaway that I can think of from this episode, it's simply this. If you don't know what your purpose is in life, well, actually, I can tell you what it is. Very simple. The simple reality of how this world was constructed is you have one of two purposes. One, if you don't currently have an existing relationship with Jesus Christ, you are here to discover who this guy I'm talking about is, why that name matters, and what it means to you. Second, if you've learned who this person is, your purpose in life is to help other people know who this person is. It's that simple. Okay. So, but my point is, if you're struggling with, you don't know what your purpose is, I suspect not being in line with your purpose is a huge impact on your psychological well-being. And for me, it's something that I'm able to distract myself from without negative impact for months at a time, but it does come around. So that's what I want to share with you now. Because of the nature of this episode, how different it was from the standard episodes that we have, I'm going to have a very different call to action. If you want to have a conversation with me about whatever's going on in your life, whether it's hey, I'm actually curious about learning more about why you're a Christian. I'm having doubts about my beliefs, or I want to explore those, or if it's actually I'm having doubts with what I'm doing in business and if this is the direct path for me. If it's anything psychological, philosophical, theological, emotional, if you just want to talk, I want to invite you to be able to talk. And so today's call to action, I have a link in the description to book a call with me. When you click on that link, you're going to see that there are no questions other than the questions that Calendly requires. And that is because there is no agenda here. My agenda will be your agenda. Whatever you decide to share, that's what we'll talk about. If you'd like to have a conversation with me, links in the description. Otherwise, I love you so much. Be back in your earbuds with more traditional business stuff tomorrow. Love you so much. God bless.